Hey everybody, Chuck here with you for another jig tie, and today we're going to be tying up the little gill jig. This is a awesome pattern, not just for those big hand-sized bluegill, but also if you live around areas where there's streams and rivers that has got the big rock bass or red eyes as we call them around here. And let's tie up the little bluegill jig. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to hit it with a thread. You can go with either a red or you can go with a black, but I love red. Gives it that little wounded look, a little attraction, just a little color to these jigs to catch those bluegill, crappies, eyes, whatever you may be fishing for. And that's what we're going to be laying on this little jig right here today is the red. This is Do It that I use in the A. Now I'm going to run this all the way back to the bend of the hook right back here. And the reason being, we're going to add a little hackle feather to this jig right here today. Now, you can go with a black. You could go with any kind of dark color, a black, a green. This is a burnt chartreuse color I got right here. And all we're going to be using off of it is just that little tip right there for the tail on this little jig right here. It doesn't take very much. We just have to cut the tip of this off. So we'll just go right down here. And we will cut the tip of this tail off of this hackle feather right here. And this is what we're wanting. Just that right there. And we're just going to flatten him out a little bit. This is just going to be the action for the jig. I'm not going to put no kind of soft plastic or no kind of trailer on this little jig. And we're going to lay it right on the top. I kind of lay mine on the side. And then when I start tying it in, because hackle tries to roll over, I like starting right on the side of the shank, and then when I start rolling it with that thread, it kindly just lifts it right up and sets it right on top of the shank of the hook. So we're going to go ahead and lock this in, just like so. And then we'll tie him down right here pretty good. Lay some nice tight wraps on him, bring our thread back up toward the front. And then I like taking my UV resin. If you don't have any UV, super glue works. You can use like the Loctite. That is my favorite super glue when I'm not using the resin. And that's ready to go. And the reason I like doing that as soon as I put the hackle on is because bluegill is super aggressive. And if they grab at this tail, it's not going to pull out of that thread that you've got wound up there on that shank. And putting a little resin or a little super glue on it is going to lock that in and keep that secured. Next, we're going to be taking our bucktail right here. You can see that this is pretty much spent up. I've been tying a lot of white bass jigs with it, crappie jigs, smallmouth, and so on. But I use everything on a bucktail and all the hair on it, even from the back to the front. And especially right back here, this is great for smaller jigs like crappie, bluegill, even those little small smallmouth bass jigs. So I'll just pinch a little pinch of it off here. And yes, we'll have to stack it because this is a 1 32 ounce jig with a little small hook on him. So we'll just cut us a little pinch off just like this here. And then I'll just fast forward through, happen to stack this where you won't be bored with it. But I'll just pull the longer hairs out, stack them down, just to get a smaller frame body of hair to go on this little jig right here. You just want a little bit of that hair, not much at all. And you want it to go just about a quarter way down on that hackle feather. You don't want it covering it. You don't want a big gobby type jig. This is, remember, this is a small type jig for those bluegill. So about right there is what we're looking for. So I'll just go ahead and remove the excess off of it right there. And then we'll lay it right on top of that shank, push down a little bit, give him a couple loose wraps, about 3. Seat it down a little and then start pushing it over that shank. You want that bucktail to go wrap all the way around that hook, so just kind of wiggle, pushing forward a little bit, not much, and pushing down. That way it won't come out from behind that collar. There we go. It looks pretty good right there. And then we'll just add some nice tight wraps to him here, locking him down. There we go. It looks pretty good right there. Now the next thing that we're going to add, I'm not going to add no bright flashing to this. I'm going to go with a black. If you don't have a black, maybe like a dark green, olive color, something of that nature. Maybe like a brownish looking flashing to work. But I absolutely love this black on these little jigs here. And I'm only going to be using about 3 strands of it. So I'll pull 3 out here. Get them cut. And then we're going to lay it right down the side. I want this to go back to right where the longest part of the hairs will end. So I'll turn my vise over a little bit. We're going to get a good side view. Give him a couple nice tight wraps, locking that in. Then I'll flip him over. And I know you can wrap it around and do it, but I've got to a point that I like just cutting it and just doing the other side. It lays better for me when I do that. You know, that might just be me, but that's the way I've got into tying this flashing on, and then it works good, especially when I add the UV resin. It's not going to slip out of that collar. So there we go. We got that one. We'll trim this right down next to the collar. Now all I'm going to do now is just build this red collar up. Giving some real nice tight wraps, locking all of that flashing in, that bucktail in. Making a nice big red collar. Right there we go. I kind of just take him out, look at him, see where I'm at. And now it's time to just whip this bad boy up here. I'm just going to do 5 whips with it. As it tries to come loose in my vise, but I got him. So let me reset him here. Seat him down. And next, we'll add our UV resin. This is going to lock everything in real nice, give it a nice shiny look. We'll hit it with that UV light. Well, guys, there you go. The little gill jig in the 1 32 ounce. It's not that expensive to make. Hey, go over to Temu or go over to Amazon. Pick you up some of this flashing right here. It's dirt cheap. Hobby Lobby, like 12 bucks for 4 ounces for the hard type UV resin. And if you don't pour your own jigs, go to Walmart. 1 32 ounce jigs, unfinished over there. They're like $1 and some change, or $2, somewhere around there. I bought them before. And get painting your own jigs, tying your own jigs like this right here. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, guys, give us a thumbs up. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe to our channel. Got a ton more jig tying coming down the road. Also, join our fishing and hunting group over on Facebook. It's Hills and Gills Outdoors. You can search that. There's a link down there for that as well. Everyone's welcome. Until next time, stay safe out there in the water, and we'll see you right back here in the next one. Have a great day.